Today on the Morning Edition, it's time to rise and shine and make our city shine too. May is officially cleanup month for Anchorage, and if everyone does just a little bit, then a few people don't need to do a lot. We'll let you know how you can lend a hand. Plus, several commencement ceremonies from the UA system took place over the weekend. We'll take a look as hundreds of students take their next big step in life. And later, you may have caught this video. It's been making the rounds online of a cop chasing an individual through the streets of New York on horseback. As usually is the case in these situations, there's far more here than originally guessed. We'll fill you in on the full story as the Morning Edition starts now. Good Monday morning, everyone. Thanks for waking up with us today. Interesting to know what the story is there. I did see that on social media, but you're at home. We're starting off the week on a wet one.
Yeah, it's kind of like a broken record. We've been talking about rain, more rain, and yes, even more rain to be expected as we head through this week. And that's what we're waking up to this morning across South Central, those wet conditions. Now, as we went through the weekend, we did manage to see some dry weather. Saturday was a bit drier. And then as we went into our Sunday, we did begin to see some of those rain showers building back in across South Central. We are expected to see this wet weather persisting through a good portion of this week. 39 degrees is where we're currently sitting at. As you step outside this morning, you can see that rain across all of South Central as you head through coastal areas, building into inland locations. Now, the driest areas are out towards our locations of the Copper River Basin, and you can see the extent of this rain extending out towards Bristol Bay and through parts of the Kuskokwim Delta coastline. Kodiak is on the drier side this morning, but more rain is to be expected for you as we head through the next couple of days. But you can see the persistent rain showers that we do have this morning, where we've already seen upwards of nearly an inch of rain accumulation through parts of Prince William Sound. Inland locations, Anchorage has already seen up to a half an inch of rainfall. We've got nearly 2/10 of an inch of rain as you head through parts of the valley and then down towards western parts of the Kenai. So it has been a very wet night and into the morning hours across South Central. And we're going to continue to favor these rainy conditions through a good portion of today. Now, as we head into the second half of the day, we will begin to see some of those drier conditions gradually making a return, but for many areas, we will keep some rain showers around for a good portion of your Monday. Tuesday is actually shaping up to be a bit drier, but we still can't rule out some showers in the forecast with a better return to some rain by midweek. So coming up in my full forecast, we do have several rounds of rain for South Central with an overall wet weather pattern for many across the state. We're also chasing 60 degrees in Southeast, if not climbing well into the 60s for parts of the Panhandle. I'll have those details in that 7-day forecast for you coming up.
School bus service resumes this week for students in the Matsu after a contract deal ends the strike. Teamsters Local 959 and Durham School Services reached an agreement on new terms. Drivers had been on strike since March 2nd. Today is a training day. Regular routes will start again tomorrow. May is the month for Anchorage's citywide cleanup, and dozens of volunteers got to work over the weekend. Westchester Lagoon played host to the kickoff event for this year's cleanup, with eager waste collectors showing up to gather their bags and pick up trash. It's the continuation of a tradition that began in 1968, now spearheaded by the Anchorage Chamber of Commerce.
Some communities, like down south, could do cleanup and litter picks all year long. It really doesn't work for us in the winter. Everything just gets buried in the snow. So when the snow melts, everything comes to light and we see what's left behind. So we have to take that opportunity to clean up right now so we can start fresh.
Throughout May, anyone with a full orange bag can turn it in at the transfer station or the landfill in Eagle River for free. She says the best place to clean is wherever the trash is and whatever areas have a special meaning to you. May is also Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month, and many members of the robust Alaska motorcycle community gathered Saturday to pray for a safe riding season.
Trying to lift up my brother Eric, this amazing motorcycle in his riding season, in the strongest name that's ever been spoken. And that's the name of your son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
The annual Bike Blessing event at the Diamond Center brought several motorcycle riding groups together to ring in the season. Several Christian motorcycle groups offered to bless any bikes they could to try to ensure a safe summer on the roads. Riders also gathered for a Rolling Thunder salute, and Anchorage's mayor also spoke at the event. Organizers say the gathering promotes an important message.
People are so busy on their phones now, not paying attention, and it gets a little scary. That's why we have the education part, our track over off of Tudor, it helps people, be more aware of what's going on around, because we really need to pay attention, because sometimes people in cars are not.
Barry says she hopes people put their phones down and pay attention to motorcycle riders. Now to an update on a crash that happened over the weekend. Alaska State Troopers say a man died as a result of the crash near the Hope Cutoff on Saturday. AST says the call came in around 1 p.m. and that 3 vehicles were involved. 4 people were taken to the hospital. Troopers say 67-year-old James Pollock Sr. from Homer died. The road was closed for about 3 hours. AST is asking anyone who saw what happened or has video to call them. A Hatcher Pass Avalanche Center instructor died after he was injured in an avalanche over the weekend. Dylan Lindsay, the man who died, was also employed with Crown Mountain Guides. The company's website lists him as a lead guide. Its spokesperson says the avalanche happened last Wednesday while he was heliski guiding, and it happened while he was in the area of Gannett Glacier, which is east of Anchorage. The spokesperson says a fellow guide found him quickly and he was taken to the hospital, where he died Saturday morning. Short-term rental owners in Anchorage can now register online with the city. The requirement comes from rules approved last year that say all listings and ads must include a municipal registration number by July 31st. The online application requires information such as whether the owner lives on site, if the rental is seasonal or year-round, and whether the same person has used it for 30 days or more. Owners must also provide the address and a point of contact. Registration is open through July 30th. A Fairbanks nonprofit is scrambling to assess the damage after flooding hit its storage facility, soaking donated toys that would have gone to children in need this Christmas. Alex Bengal caught up with organizers to learn what this means for their mission going forward.
I don't know how much we're going to be able to save.
The flood has receded, but the work goes on as the Gonzalez family with Santa's Helpers Alaska sort through toys to see what can be preserved.
It's just going to be a lot more work. A big part of it is going to be sorting through everything and then making hard decisions.
Teddy bears soaked, toys and games ruined after the nonprofit's underground storage area took on 6 to 8 inches of water.
We had things on single pallets, which is about 4 inches, so unfortunately the water came up 2 to 3 inches on most of our boxes or stacks of boxes.
The space stocked with items to be used in their Christmas mission to give out toys, books, blankets, and more to more than 300 families that need them.
We're going to have to ask more of the community. We don't want to go back, give less than we usually do. We want to make sure that kids still have a good Christmas.
And community members have already begun to rally for the organization.
We've gotten people saying, we would love to help wash the stuffed animals. We would love to help try and clean things. And, oh, I have bags of stuffies, because that was one of the first things that we saw that was damaged, was the last of our stuffies.
And not everything was damaged in the flood. Some toys were being stored in plastic, others stacked above the waterline.
It's going to be a work in progress. We'll work through it as the next few weeks go through. As always, as we try and make sure that we have what we need to make Christmas happen for those that need it.
Alex Bengal, Alaska's news source.
On Saturday, a room full of UAF students became alumni.
Please move your tassels from the right side of your caps to the left, marking your transition from students to alumni.
The University of Alaska Fairbanks class of 2026 walked the stage at the Carlson Center. The university says 1,200 graduates were recognized. The University of Alaska Southeast had commencements Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. Commencement at UAA also marked the start of a new journey for many new graduates and the end of one for a longtime university figure. Charlie Fellows takes us there.
And now, you are part of history at UAA, a member of a community of Seawolves who choose knowledge, opportunity, and the courage to dream big.
Students from the University of Alaska Anchorage walked the stage at the Alaska Airlines Center, the about 1,000-strong class of 2026, officially crossing the threshold from students to alumni.
Today, we stand together on the shoreline of your future, a future filled with possibility, opportunity, and discovery.
Some of you will build businesses, heal patients, teach students, protect our communities, explore new ideas, or solve problems we haven't even imagined yet.
Two of the speakers at Sunday's ceremony exemplified that journey. On one side, there was Rainey Spurlock, the 17-year-old from Palmer, officially becoming UAA's youngest graduate on record.
When I learned I was the youngest graduate, I also learned that the average age of this spring's graduating class is 28. Think about that. That means that this room is filled with people who started at different times, faced different challenges, and still made it to this moment. That's what makes today so special.
And on the other side, University President Pat Pitney, presiding over her final commencement after over 20 years of working in the University of Alaska system.
35 years ago, I sat in one of those seats, and it's provided me a foundation. I chose to stay mostly with the University of Alaska system, but I also chose to serve the state. Find your purpose, find your passion, give it your all.
Class of 2026, your UAA journey inspires gratitude and hope. The future of Alaska is brighter because of you. Congratulations.
Charlie Fellows, Alaska's news source.
That youngest student, by the way, besides from being the obvious, being the youngest graduate, didn't do it alone. Curious? So are we. Stick around and we'll find out more about this special situation.
Still holding on to those wet conditions across South Central. I'll have more on what the week holds. But first at sunrise, 5:41 in Anchorage, 4:55 in Juneau. Your full forecast is next.
Welcome back in. 15 minutes past the hour on the start of yet another wet day. Aaron, is it going to be a wet week?
Yeah, we've got a good portion of South Central that's going to hold on to these wet conditions. Now, we will see some dry time. Tuesday certainly shaping up to be a bit drier across South Central, but the overall trend is favoring wet weather as we head throughout this week. We've also got some cloudy skies for most of the state. We've got a trough that is really gripping a good portion of Alaska. We've got the wet weather across South Central with southeast expected to climb into the 50s and 60s as we head through a good portion of this week. Now, looking at the state as a whole, we've got a ridge of high pressure as you head out towards the Bering. This is the moisture that we're seeing extending as far north as the interior, where we are waking up to some light snow showers as well as wintry mix. Of course, the snow is primarily out towards the Alaska range and some of those higher elevations. But you can see through the Alaska Peninsula, Bristol Bay, and South Central, we've got those cloudy and wet conditions as you wake up on your Monday morning. And while things are fairly dry for Kodiak to start off the day, we will see some additional rain building in later this afternoon across a good portion of the coastal regions. Now, as far as what we're dealing with for South Central as a whole, you can see widespread rain building into coastal areas as well as to inland locations. Today will likely bring a record rainfall for Anchorage, as we're already picking up or have already seen about half an inch of that rain accumulation. So heading through the rest of today, you can see that rain stays with us. A secondary band of some rain builds in across the Kodiak towards the mid-morning, early afternoon. Then we dry out, and then another round of some rain builds in towards the evening hours. So this is what we're going to be talking about in terms of the waves of rain that's going to build in across South Central. Notice by evening, we do begin to see some dry conditions building into inland locations. This will carry us into our Tuesday, where we'll largely stay on the dry side. Now, we cannot rule out some isolated to scattered showers for inland locations into our Tuesday. Most of the rain, though, will stay confined to coastal areas. Then as we head into Wednesday, we'll see a better return to some of that rain up across South Central. Of course, those higher elevations will see a chance for some wintry mix, but the overall trend continues to favor these ongoing wet conditions. Now, by Thursday, we could see some breaks in the activity before another round of some rain is set to arrive as we close out this week. So that's going to come in several rounds of that activity. You can see through the afternoon hours, we'll pick up nearly half an inch of rain for coastal areas, a tenth to about a quarter of an inch as you head into inland locations. The driest spots that we'll see across South Central this week will be parts of the Copper River Basin. Elsewhere, though, we are going to continue to hold on to this wet weather pattern. You can see inland locations easily making an approach near a half an inch of rainfall, which means for Anchorage by Thursday, if we see an additional half an inch, that will bring this week's rainfall total to up to, if not more, than an inch of rain accumulation. But even out towards Prince William Sound, we're watching an additional 2 to 4+ inches of rainfall. So persistent rain showers remain with South Central this week. Unfortunately, if you are one of those who like to get outside and enjoy that sunny weather, that doesn't look possible this week as we continue to favor the ongoing stretch of these wet conditions. Again, Tuesday faring a bit drier for inland locations, and then we'll keep with some of those showery conditions as we head through the rest of the week with highs in the mid to upper 40s.
If you're a little curious about the youngest graduate ever from UAA, so are we. So we went out to find out a little bit more about Rainey Spurlock. Lauren Maxwell sat down with her last week before the graduation to find out how she didn't make this incredible journey alone and how a little support can go a very long way.
This is the picture we got from me on the first day of college.
Rainey Spurlock was 13 when she started taking classes at UAA.
Little awkward 13-year-old Rainey.
Now at 17, she's about to be its youngest graduate.
Here's the obvious question. Everyone is like, is she a genius?
I don't think I am. I really do not think that I am.
If you're wondering how this happened, well, you'll need to ask this woman.
We never say no. There's never we don't think there's a limit.
Rainey's grandmother. Because Rainey was too young to be on campus by herself, her grandmother made a commitment to go with her.
She went to every class with me on campus. She was with me all the time, and we did it together.
And it's always been that way. Brenda Spurlock adopted Rainey when she was 5 years old, encouraging her granddaughter's dream to become a child actress.
This was me on the set of a Disney commercial that I did. I was little Rapunzel.
And supporting her latest artistic venture, writing and recording songs in Nashville. Rainey says her grandmother has helped her become the person she is.
Oh, that is so precious.
And this weekend, the pair will celebrate a milestone.
She's graduating at 58, and I'm graduating at 17.
When they walk the stage together and collect their degrees. Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
Rainey and her grandmother are both getting undergraduate degrees, and they're actually about halfway through a master's program right now. The pair say they intend to apply to law school and eventually pursue their doctoral degrees as well. So their journey is far from over.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting. Available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.